Welcome back to Where Baggies Walk. Happy New Year to you. What a tumultuous 2 weeks it's been for West Bromwich Albion. We're starting this week off with a big thank you to Carlos Corberán and the team's reflections on his tenure at the Hawthorns and asking who next. Should Chris Brook be considered, given how Christmas has gone? We'll ask these guys their opinion on that. We're looking ahead to the FA Cup and what signings should we make this January. We've got the whole team back with us now. So Dan, Aaron, Ben and Dean are with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Before we jump into any West Brom chat, if you can do us all a massive favour and hit the subscribe button, that we want to get to 100 subscribers by the end of this month. You can help us do that. Press the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. We're very grateful for all the views and all the comments that we get. Right, guys. Well, we've joked around with the conversation with it for a couple of weeks now that Carlos might be off to Southampton or this one, but yeah, we got a bit blindsided by that one, Dan, didn't we? What's your overarching feelings after the 2 weeks that you've just experienced as an Albion fan?
Well, to be fair, it sort of ruined my Christmas. Seeing that Carlos has left, I'm sure many Albion fans are gutted about it. But life goes on. But we'll still follow the team, still get behind the team. It's just who do we get in now? I mean, there's been a few names floating about. One I saw yesterday was some Wicky from I think it was some team in Switzerland. Was it Young Boys? Was it in Switzerland or something? Potential name, but don't really know much about him. Just see what happens, really.
Just for that, Dean, what was the talk on the terraces between you and your mates? Could you scarcely believe it? I know we were joking. I think we were even recording at the time, joking, saying, "Oh well, he might go to his hometown," but could you scarcely believe it?
I didn't know what to think. I didn't want him to go, I'll be honest with you, but when he did go, I must admit I wasn't that disappointed, even though I was a Corberán fan. I don't know, had he taken us as far as he could? You know, a lot of his substitutions left a lot to be desired. And my mates are sort of 50-50. A lot of them really weren't bothered at all when he went. So it depends who comes in now. Next chapter's about to start, I guess.
Absolutely. Aaron, did you shed a tear?
Well, I mean, you've lost the best manager in the league. I mean, I think a lot of fans share that opinion, not just Albion fans, but I think it's a general consensus that he was, if not one of the best managers in the league. So obviously it's a big miss. You know, obviously I'm sure he will be missed eventually. I mean, obviously it depends on who the new guys we bring in, you know, whether it's someone that's touted as on the merry-go-round that everyone's heard of, you know, like a Steve Cooper or, you know, someone like that, or, you know, as Dan mentioned, the Raphael Wicky, who unheard of to Albion maybe, but obviously Champions League pedigree. Sorry, so you know it's obviously quite nice to have that. I mean, yeah, as I say, it will be a big loss, but I think, you know, it's probably time for us to move on.
Ben, you can have the final word on this.
Yeah, I agree with what most of the lads have said. I was 50-50, to be honest. I agree with what Dean said. Maybe I took us as far as he could. I think his agent was definitely looking for a move for a while, and he was always going to leave at some point within the next sort of 6 to 12 months. Obviously, it's frustrating halfway through a season. You got to sort of reset and stuff. But hopefully, we get someone in who can kick us on and keep us where we are, or maybe even push us even further. So time will only tell.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as a neutral point of view, I always rated him, and you know, keep in touch with the Huddersfield fans who say he was one of the best managers that they've seen. And some of the football he certainly had you playing last season. I thought was tremendous. And don't forget, you were only one playoff away, weren't you, from going to Wembley with him as well. Never mind. Right, let's focus on who's coming next. Let's go through some of the names then. I'll ask you for your personal opinions on some of these. Dan, let's start with you. So Cooper's name is in there. Do you think, first of all, is it a realistic name given that he's probably hanging on for a Premier League job? And would you have him?
Yeah, I probably would take him, to be honest, but I can't see him coming to us. I'm sure in himself he is probably looking out for a Premier League job, and to be honest, I don't blame him because that's where the big money is. I can't see him dropping down to the Championship.
John Eustace, Dean.
I don't know. Out of all the names mentioned, English managers, probably Cooper. And I disagree with Dan. I think he probably would come. You know, he lives in the Midlands still. You know, Forest, Leicester, they're no bigger than us, really. They're similar sized clubs. I'm serious when I say that. Fan base and that. It's a similar sized club. I think he probably would come, but quite intrigued by this Wicky bloke that suddenly emerged, and he's shot in to be the number one favourite at the moment. So quite keen to see that one out.
Okay, let's keep going through these. Stephen Schumacher is third favourite at the moment. Aaron, would you entertain that idea?
Absolutely not. He failed miserably at Stoke, and if you have any brains about us, we would steer far clear as possible from him, because he's, in my opinion, a terrible manager. No idea where that thing's come from. I think it's just because he ain't got a job and we've got no money. Absolutely not.
He'll go back to Plymouth, won't he?
Yeah.
Well, he has been. Yeah, he has had an interview at Plymouth. We believe as well. Gary O'Neill's name's on the list, Ben. I'm not sure it's a wind up by Sky Bet, but he was eighth favourite when I looked yesterday morning. That's not going to happen, is it?
No, definitely not. In terms of the British names, they're not very exciting names. I think I read somewhere Cooper's still on gardening leave till the end of the season, so he doesn't really need to take a job. I'd rather take a gamble on someone who've never heard of and take it from there. I don't really buy the notion of you need to know the league. The last two winners of the Championship have been Maresca and company, and that was their first ever season in the Championship, and that worked out well. So I'd rather take a gamble on someone who we've kind of never heard of, really.
Okay. Luke Williams as well. Now, you won't have listened to our Swansea podcast, but our Swansea fans are absolutely livid with how he has handled this whole West Brom saga. As a very quick nutshell, he was asked twice about it, denied that it's ever having a conversation. Then, when he suddenly realised he wasn't in the running for it anymore, turned around and said, "I was never asked." So, he has. He's got some patching up to do. Would you do you know much about Luke Williams, Dan? And would you have entertained him at the Albion?
Well, to be fair, with his tactics and that he put up against us Sunday. Didn't really impress me much. Well, they just seem to just sit back all the time, put like 11 men behind the ball, and then ended up getting a crafty goal at the end. So, I wouldn't have him anyway, to be honest.
Okay, we've nearly exhausted all of them. I didn't get a response to John Eustace. I know there'll be Blackburn fans that are listening into this, hoping and praying that you do not come and steal John Eustace from them, given the season they have. Aaron, would you entertain? Would you tell me he's a Midlands guy?
I quite like Eustace, if I'm honest. I mean, obviously he's not a massive name, but I think everywhere he's been, especially his last two jobs at Blues and Blackburn. Sorry, he's done very well. I mean, he had Blues sixth. We've just, a squad which wasn't the greatest before he got sacked for whatever reason. And then at Blackburn, I mean, where are they? Sixth, seventh, eighth? They're not far off around us, and we obviously, we've got, in my opinion, a far greater squad than they have. And they're up there again. I mean, it's someone who can make something out of nothing. Obviously, probably not the prettiest football, and definitely not the prettiest name, but it's. We can't be picky in our financial situation at the moment, and I think out of all the English managers or British managers, if you want to expand it a bit further, I think he would be top three, maybe.
Okay. Any that we haven't mentioned, throw them out there.
I was going to say, I'm surprised the QPR manager, what's his name? He's not been mentioned at all. But I'm surprised he's not been mentioned because the football's quite similar to Carlos, and it's probably a good step up for him. So I'm surprised he's not been mentioned.
Okay. Let's go around and ask you who you want then. One name. Dean?
I quite like the sound of this Raphael Wicky.
Okay.
Everybody just has to get behind him. Nobody can slag him off because we know nothing about him, really.
It's good for pun writers and headlines with a surname like Wicky. I can think of a few already. That's the first time it goes wrong, will be a sticky Wicky. As my YouTube title. Aaron, who do you want?
Yeah, no, I share the same opinion as Dean. I think looking at Wicky's Wikipedia.
He's got one in already.
Yeah, to be fair, I've looked through, and his whole career stats, especially at Young Boys, I think he was 88 games and I think only 19 losses. I mean, granted, they were top 2 teams in the league, but it shows that he's got winning pedigree. I mean, he won the league and the cup double not 2 years ago, so he's obviously got, like I say, winning pedigree. So yeah, I think he plays attacking football as well. I mean, I think his favourite formation's a 4-4-2, but without the wingers. So, I mean, our wingers are our best asset. So I don't know how that's going to work, but apparently he's very diverse and he can change it quite a bit. So yeah, I'm very intrigued by Raphael Wicky.
Okay, Dan.
Yeah, I'd copy them too. I'd say that they'll take a punt on this Wicky. Just imagine the headlines: Wicky, Baggies are massive.
Okay, Ben.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'd love to take a gamble on someone we don't know too much about and get a bit of excitement. The other name on the list was Fabio Grosso, Italian, former Italian player and manager. So I'd go down that route definitely.
Okay, all right. Let us know in the comments below who you definitely want. One name you haven't mentioned, of course, is Chris Brunt, and I'm surprised really because if you look at the how you've done over Christmas, apart from that Derby County game where you were awful in the first half, and then we were still reeling probably from Carlos. You've done all right, haven't you? You draw Sheffield United, sorry, beating Preston, and then a draw away at Swansea. So, Dean, why is his name not in the consideration?
Well, one, he doesn't want it. He's already said that, and two, he's never a manager in all this world. I don't think he's a lovely bloke. We had him over at the Warwick Baggies meeting last week before he was appointed as caretaker manager, and he just doesn't come across as a manager, to be honest. And I wouldn't wish it on him to be. He's got a bit of a legend status at the club with the younger fans at the moment, and it could go downhill fast, I think, if he was appointed manager.
But it's been a decent Christmas overall, Aaron, for the Baggies, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, other than the Derby result, I think it's been not terrible. I mean, you take a point away at Sheffield United. I think we absolutely battered Swansea. I mean, if it wasn't for I can't remember their goal. Oh yeah, a little 5 foot nothing Joe Allen scoring. Yeah, you don't remind me, but yeah, other than that, I think it's been quite positive. I think we beat Preston comfortably. Their goal, I think Jed Wallace gave it away, which is no shock to anyone. Yeah, like I say, you take a point away at Sheffield United, and the Derby result was just very disappointing. But then again, it's the first game after sacking your manager, and that's either going to go really well or really terribly. And for us, it went really terribly. So, yeah, overall, probably about a 6.5, 7 out of 10.
Okay. All right, let's focus on the FA Cup then. Moving forward, Dan, it's Bournemouth. Dan, who you face this weekend. Can I ask you whether you could care less about the FA Cup, given your position in the league and again the potential that you could get another playoff run?
I mean, obviously everyone would love to have a big cup run, playing some bigger teams. But to be honest, I can't see us beating Bournemouth because I know exactly what's going to happen. We'll end up playing all the kids, the thousands of fans that will go down there, be disappointed with the lineup, and we'll get knocked out. I mean, with this whole playing the kids, for me, the FA Cup, the magic's gone from me because teams just don't seem to care anymore and just want to rest players for the league games and don't really care about the cup. But then you have to look at the fans as well. They're paying the money to go and see your better players to put on a decent performance, but then the manager's putting out kids. So to be honest, I've lost touch with the FA Cup.
Let's have a look at your West Brom's pedigree in recent years. So this is a little bit small, so you. Honestly, if you're watching this on a mobile phone, apologies. But there's been a lot of third round exits, Ben, in the last certainly the last 5 years. Why is it you think? I mean, if you look down the list of the teams that have knocked you out, Wolves, Bristol City, Brighton, Blackpool. Won't remind you of that one. Newcastle, Brighton, Southampton, Derby, Reading. There's not the big names there, aren't there? There's not the top six. It's not like you're coming across Man City and Arsenal like some of the teams. Or why is it that West Brom haven't gone further than the fifth round, you think, than it's in the last 20 years? I mean, the semi-finals last time you were Portsmouth, it was 2008.
I I think it's just priorities, to be honest. I mean, I'm 33 and my whole time supporting us has been really either fighting to stay up or fighting to get up. We've never kind of had that. Well, I suppose we have a little bit that kind of chance to go for an FA Cup run. Either sort of staying up in the league or trying to get out the Championship has always been more of a priority, and we've rested players and we've come up against teams who haven't rested players. I can see Bournemouth going quite strong on Saturday because they're not going to go down. They're going to have a comfortable season, so they'll go quite strong. We'll rest a few, and we'll go out on a whimper. I think it'll be a similar story.
You've gone, Mark.
Sound's gone.
Sound's gone.
We're back.
There you go.
Well, keeps happening those. Yeah, sorry, Dean. Yeah, I was going to ask you. You've been at most of those games. What do you put this down to? Why haven't we seen Albion progress further in the cup than what we should do in England? It's a massive club.
Don't take it seriously anymore. Unfortunately, I still like the FA Cup. I've got some good memories, but we are kids against Bournemouth kids on Saturday, which is sad really because I think Bournemouth will play their kids. I don't think they'll be that strong. And with a good team out, we could actually do something and have a bit of a cup run, but we won't. We'll play the kids and probably lose, as we do most seasons. And that season when we did get to the semi-final, that was Harry Redknapp's dodgy Portsmouth team. Half of them were illegal, weren't they? And we'd have had Cardiff in the final.
I know, unbelievable.
Wasn't worth thinking about.
No. As a young fan, Aaron, I want to ask you just finally on the FA Cup. Do you care about it?
No, I love it. I do. I mean, recently it's not been much to shout about. Don't get me wrong, but there's been a few results. I mean, probably in the earlier rounds, as you can see from that list, Joe. We haven't really got past the third round very often. I mean, when we've done meh. I mean, obviously 2008 we got to the semi-final, but other than that, where have we really been? I mean, not really much further than the fourth round, in my opinion. Well, not my opinion, but yes, it's facts. But yeah, I mean, in my recent history, there's been a few decent results. I think I can remember 4-0 against West Ham when Sam Allardyce was manager of West Ham. I mean, other than that, there's not really much that you can remember because it's not really memorable to Albion because obviously, like you say, we haven't been past the third round very often. So, we're due to play kids more often than not. Obviously, like Ben said, we're either chasing the promotion or fighting relegation. And you sort of lose the magic that way because you don't really get much, worth of game, and obviously we just get steamrolled. I mean, we played. I mean, you say there we haven't played that many big teams in the top six, but we still played a fair few decent teams. Obviously, Wolves. I don't want to say they're a better team than us, but they're a Premier League team. Brighton we've played at least twice. Newcastle we've played, and there's a fair few other Premier League teams. Obviously, there's a few lower league teams we've crashed out against, which has been disappointing. But again, we've been fighting promotion in those seasons where it hasn't really mattered too much coming into the season, in my opinion.
I like the expression "fighting promotion."
Yeah. If I could offer you then a guaranteed sixth place now, then Dan, or a semi-final appearance at Wembley, what would you take?
Oh, to be fair, that's a tough one. That is. I think I'd go with the semi-final at Wembley.
Good. Dean?
I prefer it if you said final at Wembley.
Not having that, no.
Because we could get to Wembley in the playoffs. The final's a different thing. So, I'll go with Dan. I'll go for a semi-final at Wembley.
Okay. Aaron?
Yeah, it's got to be the cup. I mean, sixth place isn't really much to shout about, albeit you're in the playoffs, but then again, you're probably playing the best team out who finished in the playoffs, so you never really like to win anyway. So, yeah, definitely the semi-final in the cup.
Good. Just checking. Ben, you could ruin it all here.
No, I'd go to the semi-final, definitely.
Right,
it's been what, 15, 16 years since we were last played at Wembley, so we'll take that one.
It just had to be Cano that scored that goal as well.
I'm just checking, Aaron. Were you around in 2008 for that semi-final?
Yeah, 2003 I was born, 100% definitely was there.
Okay, right, okay, just checking. Right. Finally then, we're looking at January transfer window is open. Of course, we've got players potentially leaving and being saying Tom Fellows, I'm sure is going to attract some into because my goodness, his goal involvement has been something ridiculous, like 10 in 12 goals. He's had some involvement in it. But Dean, any rumours for you? Any one player that you'd love to see Sheelan get his checkbook out for if there's any money?
Can I say Daryl Deakey? Rumours as he plays for Albion. He spotted sometime last season, but I'd like to see him back, to be honest. And as regards new players, it depends who we lose.
Fair enough.
I think we do need to strengthen up front, but if DK could get back, whether that'll ever happen, I don't know.
Well, he was dancing about on his TikTok the other week, so surely he's
can't be
back
far
to
off.
fitness soon.
Ben?
Yeah, I agree with what Dean said. I think we need some support up front. Number 10, definitely number 10. John Swift, he's just not. He's not up for the fight, I don't think. So we need someone who links the play a bit better in that position behind the striker. That's something I'd be prioritising.
Don't say that, Ben. We did a whole video 2 weeks ago on how good he was.
As football fans out there,
good numbers, that right, Dan.
I haven't really heard any rumours about who we're looking at, but I'd love to have that bloke from Watford. Or was it that
Chekvadadze, yeah, the George.
He ripped us apart. He did. Yeah. I'd love to have like a number 10 just like him, but I can't see it happening.
Aaron.
Well, funnily enough, it's probably a player that you might actually see us play against in a few days' time. For me, it'd be Philip Billing from Bournemouth. I mean, I think Ratchett is due to go back, and I think he probably will go back because he hasn't really had the performances we've seen or we wanted this season. So someone like him who's, it's a direct replacement. He's 6'6". He's a box-to-box midfielder, and he knows where the goal is, and he knows how to defend. And I think that's exactly what we need. But Diakite has come into the team recently, and he's actually performed quite well. So to counter that, I would have gone with a centre-half. Obviously, I think we're lacking there a little bit. And I would have gone with Harry Darling from Swansea. I thought he was actually really good the weekend, and I think he was probably their best player, all being said. So, yeah, I think his contract expires into the season as well. So maybe it's more the case of end of the year sort of thing. But, yeah, Harry Darling would be quite nice.
Okay, good shouts. Right, thank you very much. If they've missed any, let us know, of course, in the comments below, which players would you love to see them get interested in the next 3 weeks or so, and join us as we do every single week and review how the transfer window evolves. Plus, hopefully, by the time we meet you next week, we'll have a new manager perhaps in place for us to fall out about. Thank you very much for watching. Drop us a subscribe and a like if you haven't done already, and we'll see you in 7 days' time. Enjoy your trip to Bournemouth, Dean.
Yeah.
How long? What time's the coach leave?
I never catch the coach. He'll go on the train. He's staying down there Sunday night.
All right, okay. All right. Enjoy the lads trip. All right. See you next week, fellas. Thank you.
See you later.